Let's talk about the words we use all the time but never really see. They're the small, almost invisible words that, it turns out, are the true unsung heroes of our language. And to show you what I mean, we're going to start with a sentence that's, well, missing them.
Okay, so take a look at this. It's supposed to be about Amelia Bloomer, the person bloomers were named after, but something is just off. It's clunky, it's broken, it kind of sounds like something you'd read in a bad translation, right?
Not really, huh? I mean, you can probably figure out what it's trying to say, but your brain has to do all this extra work just to connect the dots. It's confusing. And that's because our heroes are missing in action.
And boom, just like that, with a few tiny words. Although, after, did not, the sentence makes perfect sense. It's clear, it flows. These little guys are our unsung heroes, the words that work tirelessly behind the scenes to give our language its structure and meaning.
Think of it like this. Language is a big movie production. The nouns and verbs, words like bloomers or invent, they're the A-list actors. They get all the attention. But it's these other words, the functional words. They're the essential crew making the whole thing happen.
So what are these things officially? We call them functional words. They don't have a big flashy dictionary definition. Their meaning is purely grammatical. And they belong to what's called a closed class, which is just a fancy way of saying we don't make new ones. You can't just invent a new preposition. They are the absolute bedrock, the scaffolding that our entire language is built on. All right, let's meet the first member of this behind-the-scenes crew, the pronoun. I like to think of pronouns as the stunt doubles of language. They swoop in to take the place of a noun so we don't have to say the same word over and over and over again.
So, a pronoun's main gig is to sub in for another word or phrase. That's called its antecedent. This is what saves our sentences from sounding super repetitive. Instead of saying, John said John was tired, which just sounds clumsy, we say John said he was tired. See? So much smoother. And this pronoun crew, it's a big one. You've got your personal pronouns, I, you, she. You've got relative pronouns that connect ideas, like who and which. Interrogative ones for asking questions, who, what. The list goes on and on. Each one has a very specific stand-in role to play.
Now, check this out. There's a really cool, subtle difference between two of these types. A reflexive pronoun, like in John is looking at himself, is totally essential. You can't take it out, or the sentence breaks. But an intensive pronoun, as in the president himself visited, is just there for emphasis. It adds some punch, but you could remove it, and the sentence would still work just fine.
Let's look at a couple of specialists on the team. Take the pronoun as. It has a very specific job. It only shows up when the noun it's replacing is paired with words like same or such. It's a specialist that keeps our comparisons really neat and tidy.
And here's a really rare one, the word but acting as a pronoun. Wild, right? In a negative sentence like this one, but actually means who doesn't. So the sentence is really saying there's not a single man here who doesn't love you. It's this awesome old-school way to create a powerful double negative for extra emphasis.
All right, next up on our crew, we've got the relationship builders. These are the words that show how all the pieces of a sentence fit together both in space and in logic. Let's meet the navigators and the bridge builders.
First, prepositions. These are the navigators. They're basically the GPS for your sentence. They tell you where something is, near the window, or when it happened, after the party, or even how it was done, by bicycle. They give the reader perfect orientation.
And then you've got the conjunctions, our bridge builders. Their whole job is to connect things. They can link two simple words, like Paul and Peter, or they can connect whole ideas, like we left early, but everyone else stayed. They build all the logical connections that hold our thoughts together.
And just like real bridges, they come in different models. You've got your coordinating conjunctions that join two equal things. You have correlative ones that work in pairs like either or not only but also. And then you have subordinating ones that build more complex connections, linking a main idea to a secondary one.
Okay, our last major crew member is the determiner. If pronouns are the stunt doubles, then determiners are the lighting directors. Their job is to shine a big, bright spotlight on a noun and tell us exactly which one or how many we're talking about. You'll always find a determiner right in front of a noun, identifying it. This group includes some of the most common words in English, articles like and possessives like my and your, and numbers or quantities like 3 or some.
And check this out. They even have their own little system for where they stand. You can have a main determiner, like in the students, but you can also add a predeterminer before it to get all the students. Or you can slip a post-determiner in after it, like the 3 students. It's a surprisingly organized little system.
So, we've met the whole crew. The stand-ins, the navigators, the bridge builders, and the spotlighters. Now let's put it all together and watch them work as a team in one complete sentence.
Here it is. This sentence is full of powerful ideas. Woman, free, bold. Those are our movie stars. But it's the hidden crew, the functional words, that make the whole thing work. Let's do a quick, rapid-fire breakdown.
First up, A. That's our spotlighter, a determiner. It's shining a light on woman and telling us we're talking about one non-specific woman. The stage is set.
Next, who. That's our stunt double, a relative pronoun. It's standing in for woman so we can add more information without having to repeat the word. Smooth.
And finally, to. That's our navigator, a preposition. It's showing the relationship, the direction of the action. She appears bold to everybody else. See? Without this crew working together, the sentence just completely falls apart.
So, these words might be small. They might work in the background, but they are the engineers, the directors, the very glue of our language. Now that you can actually see this crew and you know what they do, how are you going to direct them to make your own writing, your own speaking, even more powerful?